Good afternoon. Good morning. Steve over at Agent Legend. We are in our, hey, good morning, everybody. We got, wow, thanks everybody for being prompt for the event. As you can see, we are in our production facility where we're going to show you like how the sausage is made. A lot of our customers have been asking like, hey, I've met Tom, I've met James on the production end of things with those executions, and like, hey, how do they bring these things to life? We're going to show you when we talk about like robots putting a real pen to paper. We're going to show you the whole process end to end, and then discuss some promotion that we have here for the holiday season in terms of helping you guys out if it's a strategy that you look to implement. So we're going to give folks just a couple minutes here to join. I can see we got 20 people logging in here at this point. We'll do another couple of minutes before we start. Feel free to pop into the chat, put any of those burning questions that you have. I'm sure they'll come up. We have Gino on our team standing by. We'll make sure that we answer those as we go. But just to set a quick agenda for the time we have together today, we're going to go through use cases of handwritten letters, when to think about them in your omni-channel strategy, whether it is from lead and nurturing to lead generation, love bombing on your clients, and some of those opportunities that exist out there, whether it is current clients, past clients, and leads that you have in your database. We'll talk about the integrations that we have for those of you wondering how this works within your existing tech stack. We'll talk about the integrations that we already have in place and what's to come as well. And then we'll talk about how Lilly plays into all of this. For those of you who are current customer of Agent Legend and have already capitalized on your complementary database analysis, we'll talk through how Lilly can assist you with optimizing any of the lead lists that you optimize through our platform. So with that being said, let's get going. We have 27 people on. I don't want to waste anyone's time. So we're going to pull up just a couple slides to go through. But for those who are new to Agent Legend, those that are perhaps recently have activated your accounts within Agent Legend, you know that we have been executing on communications for about 10 years. Communications being primarily digital in the form of SMS text messaging, video texts, emails, ringless voicemails, conversational AI. And now in terms of bringing that whole sensory experience to your prospects, being able to send handwritten letters directly to those users all through the existing workflows that we have, whether it's a one-off letter or a happy birthday, happy anniversary. So time-based executions where it's a set it and forget it, as well as just a bulk upload. If you're farming certain areas, you have new listings just sold, or just executions for events that you have going on, a number of different use cases that we'll talk through here today. We'll also talk through the nuances. What makes our handwritten letters different than maybe some of the other platforms that exist within the communities that are out there? So we'll talk through our unique differentiator as well. So let's continue. I'm going to get going here through the slides, and then we're going to take you through a tour of the facility and get you going here. So I always like to tee this up. Our production team loves for us to kind of really show, and you'll see this when we're out writing the letters here today, but like these aren't inkjet printed letters. They are not duping consumers when they open the letters, and it is something that is pre-printed on a piece of paper. These are your own templates in terms of creative, and it's your own copy that you're using. So from a personalization standpoint, you have total flexibility in how you execute these at scale. So instead of, for those that are Seinfeld fans, if you remember Susan, no longer if you are hosting that Thanksgiving pie event next week, or the Happy Holidays, or any other types of lead gen activities that you may have going on, you don't have your assistant allocating times to these activities. You could just set it and forget it and send it over to Agent Legend, and we'll execute on your behalf at the highest level possible. And so we'll go through some of that. So let's talk through the flywheel that we talk about when it comes to all of the different use cases for handwritten letters in your business. So we see a lot of our customers that are coming to us right now, starting on the left-hand side, where it is holiday cards, where you are love bombing on past customers, or maybe folks that are in your current pipeline. And that is, I would say, the number one use case for our handwritten letter capability right now. And it's a great opportunity to take off your sales cap and just express some gratitude. Again, we have pre-built templates that are available for you at any time that you can send to those people. And if you have a really large database of past clients, you're trying to figure out which ones to invest in, maybe you have a limited budget, we'll talk about how Lilly, our database manager, can help you just prioritize or suppress certain leads from the execution so we can back into a budget. Going up to the top here, lead generation, a ton of interest in those. We see this if you are consistently dropping direct mail. So those standardized direct mail pieces, we have an opportunity to help you really isolate the cream of the crop within your lead list or in those farming areas. Again, using our data and infrastructure that we have to truly pinpoint those homeowners that are most likely to take action on your execution. And so those could be cold outreach lists. They could be people within your existing database. Let's say you just have a new listing that you have coming to market. You can cherry pick the right homeowners in that area to understand what neighbors in that area may have a buyer that's interested, so you can connect those two parties. Or it may be an opportunity to get a valuation for some of those other neighbors in the area that are looking to find a local expert as well. With Agent Legend, you know that we also, with our capability in the campaign format, you can use your phone number to actually generate inbound leads from those executions. So we always get asked is like attribution for the executions. What's a unique differentiator for the platform is that like you'll actually get response rates that are measurable so that you can double down on the executions that actually work in your business and have a little bit more predictability on those lead generation efforts for you. Follow-up letters, we have, and we'll show you some examples here today of the ability for us not just to send the bulk executions, but one-off letters. So this is especially powerful for like if you just had a listing appointment or a buyer rep appointment, a really good phone call, what have you. You picked up on some key things with that person, you know, Jimmy's soccer game next week or a new puppy that they're getting in a couple weeks, to be able to go back into Agent Legend and send out a follow-up message on their behalf is really, really powerful. I always use the example of our dog, our pride and joy, passed away about a year ago, and we got a handwritten letter that I knew was written by a third party, and it was just set it and forget it in their format. But they picked up on a couple nuggets from that experience, and they executed that really, really high quality piece. It still sits on my desk at home. But again, is something that if you can systematize it and make it more predictable, it's very scalable within your operations. So we can share just kind of the use cases for those follow-up letters, and then obviously the thank you letters that are incorporated as well. So I'm sure you guys have different questions about use cases. Pop them in the chat. We're happy to address them. And our support team's also standing by too to give you we already have campaigns set up that are ready to go for you. This is just, again, as you think through, because we are in Q4, budgeting for next year. So we'll go through pricing and what this all looks like at the end of our time together today. But as you are allocating dollars for next year, if you're thinking about incorporating this into your strategy, our team can help you with the budget preparation process. In terms of what you're doing, we encourage 3 to 4 letters a year to each one of your existing clients and past clients. It seems, for $2 to $3 per letter, that investment really does pay off. And again, we always pride ourselves on measurement. So measuring those executions is really powerful. The rest is like all of those things that we've already talked about in the previous slide. We'll talk about farming as well. So the different use cases that we have going on, open houses, just listed, just sold. I have a buyer, right, with limited inventory in some of the markets that you all are playing in as well. And then for those on the mortgage side, like think about the opportunity as rates are dropping, or the opportunity to reach back out to your referral partners and your agent networks, your vendor networks. There's tremendous use case, again, to stand out and make sure that you're avoiding generic outreach. And we're guilty of that, being a texting platform in some cases. The digital executions are being flooded. And so going back to the art of like something that's tangible and can show up in your mailbox, really, really powerful if you're incorporating it. Couple things that we're going to go, and then I'm going to hand it over to James and Tom here in just a second. They're standing by just looking at me like, stop talking. We want to showcase all this for you. What I love about this is how quick our turnaround times are, anywhere from 5 to 11 days when you press send. So we have a couple different ways in which you execute. So for those that are thinking about farming, estimate 5 to 11 days. That's send us a list. We can help you prepare that lead list as well. If you need help with that, Lilly, our database manager, can assist you with that. And then anything that's pre-built within a campaign in Agent Legend, it's already ready to go out. So it's an easy approval process. Those are just set on autopilot. And we already have that pre-built into the logistics of sending out these programs. I'm going to quickly touch on the optimization. I touched on how Lilly can help you take all of the clutter and the activity if you're figuring out who to talk to. You have all these different platforms generating noise. If you've seen what we're doing with our database manager, you already know the power of what she's able to do in terms of helping you clearly delineate the difference between all this activity and helping you figure out who's actually worth the investment, because time and money needs to be allocated appropriately. And so our system will help you do that on your behalf. And all we need is an API to your existing CRM, and we'll do it all for you. And now you know exactly who to execute again. So with all that being said, I'm going to pull James in. This is James. James is our production manager. And he's going to now give you guys a view of the entire process from start to finish. So what we have done at Agent Legend, we're in the process actually of in our printing press right now. We are sending out thank you letters and happy holiday letters. So he and Tom are going to guide you on the journey here, and I'm going to mind the chat a little bit and answer questions where I possibly can. But James, why don't you work with Tom and show these guys around and how we make the magic happen, okay?
Awesome. Thanks for the intro, Steve. Well put on everything else, and we'll show you guys how all the production works.
The number one step in the process here is going to be actually printing everything. So what you'll notice is, after you submit something in Agent Legend, we are doing 100% everything in-house. This isn't a situation where we're buying cards and then having to write on those individually, and that slows down the process or drives up the cost for you. Whether you're going to be submitting, a bulk campaign, maybe it's 400 cards, 500 cards, whatever it may be, or it's just an individual letter that's triggered out through one of your workflows or a follow-up letter after having a really great meeting with somebody, your cards are going to print directly from this machine. So it's just warming up right now because we didn't want to make too much noise while Steve was talking. Some of these machines can get a little loud, but what you'll see is that real shortly here, it'll start printing out large piles of all these cards basically. So once again, if you're going to be just submitting one card, you're going to see that appear on this card stock that gets printed out on here, or many cards to be printed out. So an example of that, as it's warming up, is basically sometimes it takes 10 seconds, sometimes it takes a minute, right? But everything comes out on here. And if you just submitted an individual card, your individual card would be on here. You don't have to send out bulk campaigns. Essentially, once everything rapidly gets printed out of this machine, then all of this gets actually cut down and folded into individual cards. So what you can see here is that here's a larger stack of all these cards here. And this might be, a mix of all these individual cards. It might be a larger pile of cards itself. But either way, everything is going to be completely processed within house. So you can see here, all those are actually getting cut apart, and it will insert a little crease within these, just like a Hallmark card. So you can see, this isn't just a flat piece of paper here. This is a folded greeting card. So it already has the crease on there, so these can be folded, and all of your individual cards will get made in that fashion. So once you have all of these printed out, whether it's your individual cards or bulk cards, these are going to be put into larger piles. And at this point in the process, every point in the process, we're quality checking everything to make sure that all the cards are in the exact right order. All of the printing is done just as you submitted it. And as you can see, here's the robot that's actually fed with all these cards. This is the same design that you saw that was just printing out of that printer and then cutting and creasing. The robot writes on these, and then puts all these cards in here accordingly. Now, from here, everything is completely quality checked one more time. And not only are all the cards written on here, but all of the envelopes are also written at the same time. Now, before we move on, I just want to talk a little bit about how these are written. So when you hear handwritten letters, a lot of times people go, oh, okay, I get those in the mail. Yeah, it's like those fake printed ones. I get them from Anderson Windows. I get them from, real estate agents sometimes or whatever it may be. But these are obviously written with a real pen. And what this robot is doing is there's actually a proprietary algorithm within here that varies each individual character. So none of the L's are going to look the same. None of the E's are going to look the same. None of the O's are going to look the same. And it is going to look literally like a letter that they, or a handwritten letter that they got from their grandmother, something of that nature. Now, what it's also doing, and you'll notice we're using a ballpoint pen here, is it is actually applying different pressure variation, just like kind of how a hand would variate pressure. So different than another handwriting machine, maybe there's some competitors out there that also offer handwritten letters, and maybe they are using a real pen, but it's just on basically an axis track, which when doing that, it doesn't variate the pressure, which then when using a ballpoint pen creates these gaps in the ink that you're really, really looking for. When it comes to the handwritten letters, you're not looking for the Declaration of Independence. You're looking for something that has the perfect amount of imperfection so that it actually looks authentic. No one's buying because it's beautiful. They're buying because it's the thought that counts and you actually took the time, essentially. Looks like there is one question here. Oh, perfect. What part of the country are they mailed from? My current platform takes 7 days because it's coming from Utah to North Carolina. So the beauty of us at Agent Legend is we're here in Minnesota. We are the flyover state. And one of the benefits of being in the flyover state is from a USPS standpoint, MSP has the fastest delivery times in the country. So that is a huge benefit. Now, the other thing is you will not have to worry about an out-of-state postmark. So when you're thinking about, hey, is there going to be something on there that actually signals where the letter itself was sent from? We're the only company out there. So if you work in another company, it will say, hey, this was sent from Arizona, and I'm a real estate agent, and I'm located in basically Idaho, right? Which is a really, really bad look. But ours are going to remove that out-of-state postmark so it truly looks local. So hopefully that answers your question. Now, the next part of the process is the inserting, basically. So once all the envelopes are written, once all the cards are written, we bring everything over to these automated inserters here. And basically what we do is we quality check everything, make sure that everything is once again in the right order. And we do that by verifying our print queue here. So you can see all these different colors signal like, okay, there was a change and this is a one-off letter. So this was part of one bulk print. This may have been an event-triggered one for a home anniversary or whatever it may be. So once we've done all of our quality checks, we run this automated inserter, and it's going to take all of these cards. It's going to pull them in, and you can see that it's automatically inserting everything right in here. And then what you're left with, we have the envelopes there being fed in, is a fully inserted envelope that is completely sealed. Now, once everything has been fully inserted, what we do is we get everything automatically stamped. So Thomas is going to run our stamper here. I like to call this the Tommy gun because we got a big reel of stamps right here. And this is also very key. Most direct mail houses, even if they are using real stamps, they're going to be using basically just these commercial stamps that have a bunch of American flags on them. And that's more so signaling that this is commercial mail. The ones we use are always an assorted roll of what we call the Barnes, which is more of a residential stamp. It's more something that you would see, on a grad party invite, holiday card, whatever it may be. So it feels more like it came from a friend, it came just from you, and it wasn't processed in some bulk direct mail house. So as we get this one going, we'll see that it feeds everything in. And then basically stamps everything perfectly here. And then the final part of the whole entire process now is getting everything ready for the USPS. So in order to get you guys the best pricing possible, we do something called USPS pre-sorting. We're the only company in the world that is able to do USPS pre-sorting and get postal discounts, even when you're not doing a bulk order. So normally to get postal discounts, you got to be submitting at least 500 pieces at a time. But the way we backpack your orders together, even your one-off letters, your event-triggered letters, your bulk batches that are less than 500 pieces are going to be able to be pre-sorted, get you postal discounts, get you that out-of-state postmark removal, and also, helping you get faster delivery times basically by organizing them for the post office in the way they need to be delivered. So that's basically the whole process, A to Z. Cards get printed right here, cut and creased right there. Cards and envelopes get written on. Hey, Steve. We insert everything, we stamp everything, and then we get everything ready for the pre-sort, drop it off at the post office. Now, one last kind of summary here. What we're doing differently at Agent Legend that may be different than another company that does either fake handwritten letters or maybe even pen-written handwritten letters is, first off, these are truly written with a pen. When someone says handwritten letters and it's inkjetted, that is not the same thing, especially for nurturing. It's all about the thought that counts. And if it doesn't feel like a real letter, it's not going to have the same impact, especially from a relationship building standpoint. The second thing is the algorithm within the robots and the actual robotic arm itself, so that none of the characters look the same. The pressure variates, you get the gaps in the ink, and the feedback we get time and time again over our robotics and algorithm over other companies that do still use robots is these look a lot better. These look a lot more authentic. I would actually believe that this was real, and they get no feedback from their clients that they aren't. The third thing is going to be the postmark removal, and this is table stakes. If you are a local real estate agent, you cannot be sending your thank you letter from out of state, essentially. So I would say, hey, if you are going to use a different company, only use them for top of funnel if they do postmark removal. We're the only company that does postmark removal on non-bulk orders. So that's where this now actually works with these smaller batches and all of that, which is really, really key. And the last thing is just consistency. It's kind of like January 1st every year. We intend to work out. We start out strong, but at some point that's going to dwindle. And whether it's you writing the letters, whether it's your assistant who's writing the letters or an admin, eventually you're going to get burnt out. Eventually you're going to have a vacation. Eventually your assistant's going to have maternity leave or there's going to be a change, and you're going to get off cadence with automating and sending those 3 to 4 letters per year to those clients. And it's really hard to keep track of, okay, whose home anniversary is on this day, whose birthday is on this date, who needs a listing appointment, thank you right now, right? And you can set all that up, you can set it and forget it, you don't need to leave your platform, and this is not extra work, basically. So that's the whole manufacturing process, A to Z.
This is the first time we've ever done this. So hopefully the experience was okay. The noise levels were fine, but I think understanding how these things come to life really gives you the appreciation for what James and Tom and the rest of the team are doing day in and day out. So let's go through here. We'll have Gino, if you don't mind throwing some of the questions up, and James and I can rattle through these for everybody. We got about 20 minutes or so left, and then we'll talk through just like pricing and how to get started if you're interested. So Kevin Scott, you asked, I've used here. Let's turn that off. I've used handwritten letters before. The issues was the envelope or mailing address, etc., was not handwritten, making it look like a computer handwriting. You guys saw that, right? So not only is the actual piece going to be written with pen to paper, but also simultaneously in parallel, we're also printing out the address information to and from, both on the front of that envelope. You saw the postage as well. I think I saw a question around this one here from Brendan was, okay, so no postmark because you are doing a USPS pre-sort,
Yeah.
right?
Exactly. And the software and the back end of things is what's really, really different here. So the USPS allows the ability on a pre-sort to remove a postmark. But that's why you don't really see real estate in general using these for the original intention of handwritten letters and where they've really thrived for decades, which is making someone feel special. You just see them as bulk mail, basically, that goes out to neighborhoods for that top of funnel. Whereas every single agent, no matter what, you're going to get results over a 12 to 24 month period if you are pampering every single client that comes through your door. Previously, you just couldn't use handwritten letters for that unless you were truly writing them yourself, because the USPS doesn't allow you to do pre-sorts on batches under 500. The way that our software does things on the back end, the way our manufacturing process works, the way we're able to backpack orders together allows us, even on one letter, to do a pre-sort. So there's no instance where you're not going to have a pre-sort if you're submitting it through Agent Legend, which means no postmark, better pricing, because you're not, we're bringing the costs down because our postage is slightly cheaper.
All right, so this one's kind of in parallel, right? So it's an actual stamp. How do you avoid the postmark?
It's straight up through the USPS pre-sort process. So when you're doing a USPS pre-sort, basically that's something you do within the USPS's software. And you're organizing in order for the post office the way it's actually going to be delivered. So the postmark is put on there by the person who's actually, or the office that's actually sorting the mail, and when it's sorted through their mail house, and it has to be put into those postal routes. When you're doing that for the post office, they're able to take their kind of seal of approval off of that, because the liability is now on us, and we've done that all digitally, so it doesn't need to be put on there, and it's just going to look like something like that there. So you got the real handwriting, you got the real stamp, and it's not an American flag stamp, like I was saying. That every single, even if it's better to have a real stamp, but it's less ideal to have one that there's generic pieces on everywhere.
Yeah, so awesome. The next two questions more around creative, right? So what you saw, we have templates already available for you. In the system, though, you have full autonomy to create your own. We plug in with Canva to bring that to life. So you can put in your brand logo, your brokerage logo. We've seen team images, the house of note, right, at Just Sold as well. But that is all in your creative control. Our team also assists on the creative side of things as well. So you're just not on an island as well to execute on some of those. And then I saw Brandon's here just around. So he's on the lending side, just making sure from a RESPA, making sure things are RESPA compliant. We do that at Agent Legend all the time. There's oftentimes that the real estate agent and lender relationship that we have. So absolutely from a billing perspective to make sure that you're in compliance. And then absolutely that co-branded mailing piece, that's all in your creative control, bridging the gap between both of those executions. We see the best results of making sure that like you're not promoting interest rates or home, like that kind of stuff is typically lends itself to let's just ditch it into the trash. This is more, you got to find value for the person on the other end. And so we can help you with the campaigns that we've ran to date and what's proven to garner the best positive response rates, because not all responses are positive. So our team assists with a lot of that. Again, we've been at this for 10 years. So now just having the handwritten letter capability added into the communications path is all something that we've tracked and managed for our clients. I'm going to keep adding these as we go. Guys, keep jumping into the chat. We want to answer as many questions as we possibly can. So yes, can you purchase and print one off test samples? Yeah, within our platform, if you need a sample or you'd like one, we're happy to send one to you. The goal of today was to eliminate that delay, because if you're trying to execute anything for the holidays, we want to make sure that we get you on the production schedule. But yes, you can request a sample. And again, our team will assist you with that. I've seen some that there's another question around, like, can I put my signature in there? I don't believe I can send you a copy of like my signature, or have you guys executed any of that?
Yeah, so there's not going to be your actual like signed signature there, but typically you'll just sign your name at the very bottom. Me personally, when I write a birthday card, I would just put dash and then write James.
Yep.
Right. So to Steve's point, everything is tracked. We've sent out millions of letters and figured out like what works and what doesn't from a copy standpoint. So that has no effect on that. There's some other key principles which we'll dive in deeper on the other webinars, but like the actual messaging is far more important. The way that you're positioning the card from a design standpoint is very, very important. You're going to position it differently for a stranger than you will someone in your network. No one cares about your brokerage logo if they don't know you. So, that's just one example of kind of doing things differently from a content standpoint that make a huge difference.
Yeah, love it. All right, so now we're going to pivot into, and again, keep asking questions. We'll have Gino throw them up just to, again, make sure that we're getting to everybody's questions that we have in the chat. Let's talk pricing and how we've broken this down. So for those, there's a couple different ways where, like, in the printing world, you could just print for, they're just like a cost per piece. So we've broken it down on like a price per letter based on the quantities that you order. It's a wallet-based system. So the reason why we do that is we want you to invest when budget allows. And so depending upon the amount of cards that you add into your wallet, given it's Q4, we see a lot of folks that are loading up that wallet now, putting that as an expense to load those in and then use these do not expire. So you can draw down from them in 2026 and beyond for those different use cases that we talked about. You may have throughout the year, you're going to have, hey, let's have a strategy of love bombing on all of my current clients, past clients. If you're recruiting, we haven't really talked about that a lot, but for those of you who are on that are trying to grow your team, imagine how much more powerful something like this is versus a generic email. And you can set it and forget it and have those agents that align well with your team or brokerage. It's, again, you're investing in that on the front end of things. And we've seen some really great results on that side of things. You have your one-offs, you have your bulk executions. And so as needed, you can continue to use those. You'll see all the pricing. It's all built into the system. So whether you're generating a new campaign, our system will prompt you to add letters to your wallet. And again, you can see how those break down, but relatively affordable, I think, as we compare against some of the competition that's out there. Yeah, higher cost per piece when you're comparing it to direct mail, but it is not a direct mail execution. These are a much more premium option, which, again, you can see the labor and time that goes into creating each and every one of these executions.
Well, and what I like to say too is when it comes to any top of funnel marketing, you're paying for the phone call. You're not paying for the paper itself. So like a normal breakdown on a split test between like traditional direct mail and handwritten direct mail, especially with the proper use cases, is, for example, you could spend, $2,000 sending out 1,000 letters for even numbers, right? And you may get 10 responses. Okay, $200 a pop. That's great. Oh, well, I can go get, postcards for $1. That cost me $1,000. What we typically see is on that, you're probably looking at, if anything, I mean, more often than not, we see that people get 0 calls, but, 0.1 response rate. So you're talking about 1 call per $1,000 cost per call or cost per lead. So really you're paying for the phone calls, and that's just with top of funnel. When you're talking about nurturing clients and making them feel special, someone just gave you a $30,000 commission. Right. You would buy them a $4 cup of coffee at Starbucks. So it's a no-brainer to buy them, a $2 thank you letter that actually makes them feel really special. And it doesn't matter if you are Chick-fil-A, if you are the Ritz-Carlton, or if you're a real estate agent. The companies that pamper every single person that comes to their door are the ones that see lifetime customers that are around for decades and refer higher. And typically what we see across, all agents in all markets is the people that are sending out a thank you letter or in a home anniversary. So at least, 2 or 3 letters per year to their clients are seeing a 20% increase in the amount of referrals that are happening over, a long-term basis. You're not going to plant a seed today and say, hey, I'm going to do customer service well for a month, and that's going to change my brand position, and I'm going to be the cream that rises to the top. But you do this every day to every single customer for the next year. You are going to see a lift on your business because other people aren't doing it, and it's easy to be the tallest pencil in the pile.
Tallest pencil in the pile.
Yeah,
I've never heard that one. That's good. I always love that's fantastic. Okay, good. So let's go. I did see one question that I want to go to, and we'll talk to this slide here in just a second. But Canada, we can mail to Canada, right?
There are on bulk orders, we can mail them to Canada. There are some increased costs in doing that. But, talk to Steve and the team about that. That is going to be a little bit of an ad hoc use case, essentially. But there are opportunities there.
Yeah, bring that up because we get questions around Lilly. Lilly is a US-based product, given the consumer information that we've collected. And then we can operate with our texting and communications platform for the digital communications in Canada. And then we'll certainly provide you, it looks like Scott will give you some more information around some of the nuances with the Canadian executions that we're sending out as well. So we put this together because for those of you, for those that are already doing handwritten letters through our platform, thank you again. You guys already understand the power of the platform. So what we have is for the first 50 orders that we receive, we're giving 10 letters for free. So those will just be added immediately to your account for you to just get a little bit of an added bonus within there. And the other sweetener that we have within this is scan this QR code. You can get free access to our platform. We didn't want to share the really nitty gritty when it came to all the setup and executional elements within Agent Legend during this particular webinar. We're going to do another one to share with you guys what that whole experience looks like. Again, our support team and our customer service team are there to help you with your first execution. And then from there, it's like a plane taking off. You're set and forget it after that. But we are offering a complimentary database analysis. For those of you who have not taken advantage of this already, it is huge, especially as you're planning for 2026. The power is, as you're thinking about using your dollars and your time and what that strategy looks like, it all starts with the data and the leads that you already have in your existing database, and that should direct your strategy moving forward. And so you've heard me kind of sprinkle in some mentions of how Lilly operates. I encourage you guys, if you're on YouTube, go and watch the webinars that we've done to highlight that product. But Lilly's job is your 24/7 database manager. And so her job is to really help you as you're figuring out where to spend your time and money. She'll highlight the leads to execute upon, so that prioritization, and that works for not only the leads within your existing database, but if you are circle prospecting and these are lead lists, you can leverage Lilly to help you segment that list to make sure that you're spending your dollars and optimizing your budgets the most effectively as you possibly can. So that is complementary as well for all of you that are on this webinar. And from there, that informs our strategy. So that executional side, that then helps us understand who are the people that we want to love bomb on, who are that are likely going to transact in the next year, and then who are we consistently nurturing with email, text, ringless voicemail, video text, and all the other capabilities that we have at our disposal. So if there weren't any other chats in here, I see Trisha, you had some questions in here. The discounts are already kind of baked into the price per letter that you have. And then that complementary database analysis is something that like our team does for all of our customers. And there's a tremendous amount of value that's packed in there. So irregardless of if you continue along with our platform, you can take full advantage of that database analysis. And again, all we need, we talked about integrations and the integrations that we have for the real estate CRMs that are out there, mortgage CRMs. If you're in the home services realm, we also have some rich integrations with some of those more niche CRMs. I saw one for HubSpot. We're integrated with HubSpot. Salesforce, we are actively working on Salesforce. So those will all be available so that we just align this all with your existing tech stack as you're moving forward. We want to make sure that it is seamless. You're not having to bounce within any systems. Yuri, is there a monthly fee? There is, but it's included with all of the other pieces that we talked about. So as you think about a campaign, we have plans starting as low as $99 a month. And those you just add letters to those if you're looking to execute upon those. But the power of why we include that subscription is we want to have your phone number featured on these creatives so people know who to reach out to. And we do that. It's paramount for us to have the attribution. So reporting is your dollars, is Agent Legend producing results? That's the best way that we can do it. We have different features within there that I know you'll love. And again, that comes inclusive with Lilly to assist you with getting smarter about those leads that you already have worked tirelessly with time and money to accumulate. And so Lilly helps you harvest those as well.
Sorry to interrupt here. In terms of a monthly fee, maybe I'm just inferring that maybe she was specifically asking about the handwritten letters themselves.
Oh, yeah.
But since you guys are doing it on, a walleting system, essentially, the monthly fee is associated with your Agent Legend account. And then you can just, buy a bunch of credits up front, put them in your wallet, get the tax write-off, going into next year and everything. And then you can send them out whenever you want. So yeah, I just wanted to make that differentiation there.
Yep.
That specifically for the letters, you may have a lot of listing appointments one month. You're going to send out more follow-up letters. You may do more top of funnel when you have a buyer, whatever it may be. So you need that flexibility. That's why the wallet system is really, really awesome.
Yep. Love it. Nika, hey, I saw a couple questions from you, Nika. You had mentioned you had requested a sample. We'll make sure support resends one out to you if you did not receive it. But with regards to after you purchase credits, our system will prompt you, right? So it depends on your use case. Are you sending out a bulk execution or are you adding it to a drip? And so we talked through some of those drip examples. The drips can be, a new lead comes in, a listing appointment. If you have a third-party plugin, we see a lot of our users with a Fellow or a Real Scout, or a Rooster, for example, that they're generating activity. How we think about that is the high quality opportunities. Lilly will figure out who those actually are. So you're clearly differentiating all that activity, figuring out the hottest leads, the one that are actually going to transact. And now you can add that to a campaign. It includes a handwritten letter to be sent out. And then again, day 5, you send out a text, a voicemail to introduce yourself as well to make sure they got the letter. So that's how we include those within there. And it's all available at your fingertips. Paul, let's see here. Lofty, I saw one for Lofty, so I'm going to pull this up. Lofty, yes, absolutely. And I did see a question around the data. So Lilly and Revaluate, I believe Lofty has Revaluate in terms of scoring. Lilly is much more than just a score. I use the example with our handwritten letter capabilities are going to be like, if you don't have the birth dates of your leads, Lilly can actively find that. If you don't know the closing anniversaries, or maybe you didn't log that within your CRM, the integrity of your CRM, she'll clean all that information up for you. And now you just have that foundation ready to go for you. So yes, Lofty, Follow Up Boss, Bold Trail, Brivity, you name the top CRMs in the real estate space, we have coverage for you, and it all integrates seamlessly within that tech stack for you.
I didn't even realize that you guys, or Lilly's going to have that cleaning feature and everything, which is super cool. Because, one thing that really inhibits people from sending out handwritten letters is I don't have the data in my system. Okay, perfect. I want to do this, but now I need to go talk to my title company and get a bunch of addresses or whatever it is. So that itself is a huge reason, to use Agent Legend, over another company, even if you're currently doing handwritten letters with them, is just straight up, they got the data.
Yeah.
And that is like the gate to all of this, really, is you need addresses. So.
Awesome. All right. We are at 12:45 Central, where we're located. If there's no other questions, we can wrap this up. Again, if you scan that QR code that we showed on the screen, great. If not, just go to our website. You can, again, activate your complimentary account. You'll see all of the prompts to get you started. If you're interested in moving forward, if you need a sample, that's all available within the software. And yeah, reach out to us if you have any questions whatsoever. Our support teams are ready to help you. So thank you so much for all of your time and attention, and have a great rest of your week, and have a great holiday season if we don't hear from you. So take care, everyone. Have a great one.